Well, happy Saturday, my beautiful coffee beans. I'm Bullhorn Betty. We're covering quite the cases, as you guys can see. We've got a huge episode, and we've got a time limit when it needs to be done, because if you guys don't know, Seth is going to be debuted on Jennifer Coffindaffer's channel. So I want to wrap up to hear what they are going to have to say right there on Jennifer's channel. So stick with us here on the Bullhorn Betty channel as we cover Nancy Guthrie's case, Lynette Hooker, the Ohio 16, and of course Nolan Wells. But we have a few other things that we need to catch up on before we even dive into these cases. So come on in, grab your beverage, sit on down, and let's get into it.
Bullhorn Betty rocks.
Da 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 da. Come on in, folks. It's a beautiful Saturday. Not quite. It's rainy.
We clocking early. Hunt was unstable. Bullhorn Betty on the curb, voice raised. Flip flop queen with the homemade phrase. Notebook thick, got the screenshots flagged. Names in red ink, every rumor, every tag. Late night live stream, screen glow on her face. Truth in her throat, got a lawman's pace. She don't blink when the threats roll through. Come see me, she says, if you think that's cute. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. Insane Asylum, that's our crew nickname. Laugh so loud while we track these names. White boy wild with the webs we spin. Pen to pen, see the pattern sink in. Turmo shaking when the case goes cold. We stir it back up, won't do what we're told. Doorstep question, side eye stare. Where were you that night? We hanging right there. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. This for the faces on the milk cart labels. This for the families praying at tables. This for the names that the news won't say. We say them out loud every single day. Every day. If you're running in the dark, better feel that fear. Betty got a bullhorn right in your ear. Coffee club crazy, but we think so clear. One small town, whole world gonna hear. Hey! Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that the day gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we take red trust.
Da, da, da. Doot, 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 doot. Happy Saturday. Did you guys like that? Like, happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty channel. It is so great to see you this beautiful Saturday morning. Not. Yes, we started pushing buttons first thing in the morning. I'm Bullhorn Betty. We've got a lot of cases to cover, and it's not beautiful Saturday. As a matter of fact, I barely got Delilah out to pee before the whole entire, freaking clouds decided to open up on Manatee County, Florida. Okay, we are under drought warning, so this water is absolutely needed. My poor little pygmy palms look like they were torched out there. They look like they're from the Sahara Desert. They're so dry, they're so brown. I'm wondering if I'm gonna have pygmy palms after this drought. I've never seen my palms out the front of the house look so pitiful, and there's nothing I can really do about it. Literally nothing. I'm spending all my water on cucumbers that aren't that aren't growing. good gracious. Well, guys, it's nice to see you this morning. We do have a lot to cover, but before we get diving into it, we do have, just say good morning to everybody and get kind of acquainted before we dive into all the gunk and funk of life, right? There's a lot of gunk going on. There's so much stuff I could literally do an 8-case day, but we're on a time constraint and I've got a whole lot of tabs open, so we need to kind of get through it. So I'm going to try to briefly go through here. I'm only going to take a few moments just to say hi to the people at the top. For everybody else, thank you for joining. I appreciate you all being here, but I'm not going to be able to get through everybody today, this morning, because we are on such a time constraint. I woke up a little bit later than I anticipated. We're getting started a little later than I really wanted to. I wanted to have a show at 7:30 so we could be wrapped up. Seth Rogers is going to be speaking on Jennifer Coffindaffer's show, and I want to listen. I want to be a part of it. If you've never been over to Jennifer Coffindaffer's show, please go over there and sub up. If you've never been over to Seth Rogers' channel, go over there and sub up. He's the father of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And whenever you are on these cases, whenever you have a parent that has a social media, that information is going to most likely come out on their channel before it comes out on anybody else's, with the exception of, obviously lawsuits. It's when lawsuits happen, media almost immediately reaches out to you guys as soon as they, or whoever's filing the lawsuit. If it's a well-known case, this is a well-known case. While the actual manhunt or the search only searched for 8 days, it was still what they refer to as the largest in Tennessee history, which is pretty sad. If 8 days is the largest search for anybody in Tennessee history, just how sad that is. But we're going to get into all of that today. So, E-Mark, it's nice to see you. Melanie, Rue, Darla, MJ. Well, hello, my love. I hope you're doing well. Let Them 66, Horsey, Love, Hobo. It's nice to see you as well. Denise, Melanie, Carol. Good morning, loves. Thank you. Oh, I see it, Beach Lover. Thank you so much. YouTuber is here. Robin, good morning. It's nice to see you as well, love. Tom Raccoon, good morning, Tom. It's nice to see you, love. Peggy, good morning. J.E. Every time. Do you ever, I just want to ask you, do you ever want to throw something at the TV? Do you ever want to pop my head like a pimple? It's like, Daddy, read the letters. Read the letters. Don't make up the letters. Read them. Just read them. J-E, not G-E. She's not a freaking dishwasher. Maybe she is. Who knows? Oh, it's nice to see you. Oh, thank you, Momo. My husband says you have the best intro of everyone. I know it is a kind of, and not only that, but it kind of gets you, it's like, it's a good day. We got to go back to some of the original stuff, but it's hard to, because it kind of really just gets you, we're all dancing. There's nothing better than to wake up in the morning, even if we're going to get into a gunk-filled conversation, waking up in the morning bebopping, okay? Even when you're in a piss-poor mood, you hear that song, you just start to, your shoulders just kind of start going like this, and then you just start going like this. Next thing you know, you start and then next thing you know, you got yourself a little crew and you're doing the booty dance, right? You're doing the BHB booty dance. Trust the process. It's nice to see you. Hot damn. I appreciate that, though. When I heard that song, I'm like, that's it. That is it right there. Because there were 3 or 4 different songs that were presented. So I do different renditions of that. Whenever I take the music out and just use the instrumental part behind some of the videos and stuff like that. But I had 3 or 4 different intros that I could pick from. And and when I had 2 renditions of this particular song, and this is the one that I like because of the beat. The other one was kind of, same lyrics, just a little lame. It just wasn't the same. Just wasn't the same. So, very pleased with how it came out. Absolutely. Jacqueline and Blaine, it's nice to see you. I hope you guys are doing well. Yo, mama, it's nice to see you. Yo, mama. How you been? Not raining here, so we're pressure washing the head. Well, good luck. The rain's probably coming towards you, because I'm telling you, it just bottomed out over here. I'm hoping we have a little bit more. It says we're going to be getting rain. Oh, good gracious, I can't read this phone. I'm trying to keep my glasses off, because I noticed that when I wear my glasses all day, I can't read shit when I take them off. I noticed that when I wake up in the morning, I can read crap. I put my glasses on, I stop being able to read crap without my glasses. So I'm like, maybe I should start trying not to put the glasses on, and maybe I'll read better, right? I don't know. I don't know. What was I looking at? I don't know. I don't know what the hell I came on my phone to look at. Oh, that's right. I ordered something from Walmart. What was I coming over here to look for? I'm getting old. I'm getting old. Hobo's mom, thank you. 18 months with us. Bless you, my child. Bless you, my child. You put up with all my crap for 18 months? Oh, dear gracious. Are you sick? Darla, it's nice to see you. Danielle, Little Orange Man. Good morning, guys. Lisa, Beach Lover. Good morning. Kit Kat. Oh, Kit Kat. It's nice to see you, love. T Fox. Beach Bum. Frank It Up. Hey. Mama, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Eric. Good morning, love. I hope you're doing well. Who else do we have? I've been good. Thank you. Thank you. It caught that. I don't know why. I don't know why it caught that. My little grabber grabs a lot of stuff that it shouldn't grab. Happy Cappy. Carol. Cat Lady. It's nice to see you. Did I say hi to you, Danielle? I think I got Rue. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, same here with the glasses. So I've noticed that. So I've tried to keep the glasses off first thing in the morning. I notice if I keep the glasses off, I can actually read my screen. Wow, imagine that. And it makes you wonder, well, why are we getting, why are glasses, just about everything. You go in to set a bone, like you break a tooth, they build you a tooth, right? Or they put your tooth back together somehow, right? But you have a tooth there. You build you a tooth that looks like a regular tooth, right? You break a leg. They put a cast on it. It still looks like your regular leg, right? So whenever they put glasses on you, why can't you ever get 20/20 vision again? That's, I always thought that when you go to the eye doctor, they adjust your glasses so you have this perfect vision again. Come to find out they don't. You have to have glasses for small print, glasses for big print. You got to have distance glasses like, nearsight and farsight, farsighted and nearsightedness, right? You can't have a completely 20/20 vision ever again once you go to the eye doctor. That's what I'm understanding. Is that true? I don't like that. I don't like that. All right, we got a lot to go over, so we might as well start getting going in it. This was just interesting. I don't even really want to spend a whole lot of time on this. Oops, I didn't even put it up. Oh my goodness, I'm not prepared this morning. Imagine that. Betty not prepared on a Saturday morning when she's rushing? Well, imagine that. Okay. There we go. I just found this was so interesting because, we're from the United States of America. We have this, justice system. We have this court system. We have, when we go to trial, it's like we can't monkey F with our trials. We can't commingle our trials, We can't, each person is, unless it's a crime committed together, usually they have a path forward together to file suit so there's one trial. But even then, most of the attorneys always try to split those up. They like their assailant or suspect to have a separated trial from other people, because you commingle them, then they're kind of wrapped up all together, especially if they had a very minor role in a conspiracy or something like that. You want those things separated. So typically they do separate those cases out. They won't try them together. And most judges do separate them. I personally don't like it. I think if they did the crime together, they should be tried together. But I don't make the rules here. We have, they're allowed to ask the judge for anything. And now it's kind of, has become kind of the standard. But in El Salvador, for example, they had a mass trial. I'm like, what? You would never be able to get away with a mass trial in the United States of America, okay? There's like no way an H-E double hockey sticks, okay? And that's capital locks, okay? There's no way in that would ever happen, okay? So it was just, when I saw this article, it really wasn't for any other purpose than just like a wow factor. And again, reminding everybody in civilized countries just how good we've got it. You know, it may not be the best, but it's better than other parts of this country. And if you don't believe it, by all means, we'll give you a one-way ticket, because once you go, you ain't coming back, okay? You're either going to be in prison or, you know, kind of in a field somewhere, either marked or unmarked. Just saying. Just saying. So in El Salvador, they did this mass trial of these alleged MS-13 members, and I just thought it was really interesting. 3-month mass trial of hundreds of alleged gang members of MS-13 wrapped up Wednesday in El Salvador, with prosecutors delivering their closing arguments asking for maximum sentences. The proceeding against 485. Oh my God. What would we do if we really took down a like in the United States? I don't think we've ever taken down a organization of 400 or 500, almost 500 members. Like, how would we do that? Carol Chapin, she said it's my birthday today. Okay, well, we give birthdays. You guys get 2 birthdays a year. Carol, it's nice to see you, but I want you guys to think about that. I got to start moving through this stuff. So, hi guys, we got a birthday. It's Carol Chapin's birthday. Miss Carol, happy birthday. So we're going to do this, right? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Carol Chapin. Happy birthday to you. I couldn't last through the whole smacky. So, Carol, happy birthday from us to you, from the Coffee Club. The Coffee Club. Dun, 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 dun. We could have done a different one, right? Okay. No. 1, 2. Why is my thing off? I plug this in and then we go off. My singing and everything gets synced. I'm going to plug this in and then I'm going to turn my camera back on. That's what I'm going to do. Because if I start getting off this soon, this early in the morning, it's going to really piss me off. But it's not surprising, right? Not surprising. Okay, so we're back. We're back in. So I just thought this was a very interesting article, because we would never in America do something like this. And when I saw it, I'm like, whoa, right? So what does it say here? I'm going to keep that off for a little bit. It says 3 months mass trial of alleged MS-13 gang members wrapped up Wednesday. This is a proceeding for 485 members international crime, or MS-13 gang, on charges that include homicide, extortion, drugs, arms, and human trafficking. Have drawn critics by human rights group, which say they infringed on defendants' rights under Latin American country's state of emergency. The state of emergency, enacted in March in 2022, suspended some constitutional rights, and tens of thousands Salvadorians have been detained since then. Wow. I never knew they could suspend constitutional rights, but hey, that's what they did. So these are other things. If you guys did not know, we have new evidence I always believed, if you guys remember when Maduro was captured, they went over to Venezuela and grabbed their president. And then they kind of went into Iran. They're already talking to Cuba. They're going after these communist countries, is what it is. But whenever I saw him go after Maduro, everybody kept thinking it was for the oil. And I was the only person that screamed from the rooftops. It has nothing to do with the oil. They went after Maduro because all of those machines, the Dominion machines, all of these things were birthed out of Venezuela. And Venezuela has been kind of this puppet master of the voting machines and overthrowing governments around the world. So when he was captured, I knew it was much bigger than oil. We have enough oil under us. We're not going after presidents of other countries for oil, but we are going after presidents of other countries for overthrowing or attempting to overthrow our country. That's what we do. We do go in and beat down doors and grab people out of their own homes and drag their asses back here on low-hanging fruit charges like the corrupt drug trafficking trade out there in Venezuela. But either way, I truly believe it was for all of this right here. And I believe Maduro has been helping Trump understand exactly what, when, who, how, and everything. And they've come out with this report that's basically pointing a lot of fingers at China. So with the help of Venezuela, and I also said the reason why we're attacking Venezuela, Iran, and Cuba is because that is weakening Russia and China. So if you guys are seeing that those things are going on, I just wanted to point those things out, because I think it's very interesting, to say the least, to see that some of my assessments, even on these larger cases, are coming to fruition. So give me just a second. I think I might change my screen back. Give me just 1 second. Let me look at my properties here and see what I can do here. I'm getting tired of this. They shouldn't be having all these problems. Okay. Hopefully that, and it doesn't. Alright, oops. This might drop our channel down, and I know everybody's like, Planny, don't do this! I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it. All right. Still not working. All right, we'll take this off. I got a lot of stuff to cover for today anyway, so it's just going to be what it is. But anyways, this is nothing. I'm not even going to cover this part of this, but as you guys can see that there is something. I am going to cover this next thing, and then we should be getting on with our show. And it is related to explosive diarrhea. Okay, this is why I wanted my face on the screen, because I think this is face worthy. We're gonna have to go with it even if my lips don't match, because it's not funny. If you guys have ever had explosive diarrhea, it is not funny at all. But we've all been hearing about it, that there's thousands of people that have gotten sick. Well, we found out the culprit. And as funny and non-funny as this is, the reason why I'm bringing it up, and the only reason why I found out who the culprit was because some of the research I was doing on Nancy Guthrie's case and using the search criteria of Arizona. And I realized that the parasite-laced items being consumed that caused this explosive diarrhea, and many people, mostly in Michigan. I mean, that's where it all started. I believe that's where we heard about this the most. And then we found out that, people, this was a lettuce supplier for Taco Bell, and then it all made sense. Most of these people went to, like, the mystery meat capital of fast food, Taco Hell, and, they had hell to pay. No pun intended, It was an explosive experience. Just saying. I don't know. An explosive. Oh, an explosive experience. Okay, we're done. Okay, we're done. Okay, I shouldn't be making fun. Right? It could have been any of us. It certainly could have been any of us. But just stay away from Taco Bell for a little while. You know, Taco Bell has been in the media a lot about, you know, whether they really use meat, like real hamburger. All right, at this point, I wonder if any of our fast food restaurants use real food anymore. I really don't. I don't even eat at fast food. You know what? I can tell you this. I cook my food here at the house, and I can eat a plate of food here at the house, and I will literally feel full. I can take a plate of food at any fast food restaurant, put it on my plate, make the same size plate. It'll obviously have a hell of a lot more calories, but the same size plate, I'll eat all the food on the plate from a fast food restaurant and feel completely empty inside. Like I didn't get a stick of food whatsoever. I truly believe our bodies are telling us that the food that are being sold at the, like, once upon a time, these restaurants, these fast food joints served real food. But then these companies, these corporations, these hedge funds bought these companies up for their name, and they no longer care about what they feed us. All they care about is the bottom line and whether their stock people, the people that are in the stock market, are making money. That's all they care about. They don't even care. They don't care if they feed you, you know, explosive diarrhea-laced lettuce. Like, how the hell do you get parasites in your lettuce and not know about it? With all the chemicals that are poured on all of our food, how does this happen this day and age? We need to be asking ourselves that. But if you guys are buying food at fast food restaurants, or you guys are going to a fast food restaurant for lunch this afternoon, you guys need to really start thinking about that, because maybe sitting down at Cracker Barrel or a little bit a pricier restaurant, you might actually get real food. Because honestly, I think you're going to these fast food restaurants paying $15 for a paper. Like, I'm starting to feel like they're making your food out of paper, because after you eat an entire meal, you don't even feel full. How is that possible? How can you eat a quarter-pound burger and a large fry and not feel full? How? Anyways, let's move on. This is upsetting to me, but this sounds like drugs, mental health illness. This is in Flagler County, Florida. It's a 41-year-old and a couple 20-year-olds living in a hoarder-looking type of house, something like, you know, the Ohio 16. And, you know, we're looking at this, and this child was in the middle of the road, stark naked in his birthday suit, could have been killed. Some stranger stays with this child until law enforcement gets there and finds out this child belongs to this house that is completely unsanitary and literally has feces smeared on the walls. Come to find out, this child is literally kept in the room up to 3 days at a time. This child's not allowed out. They had this child corralled into a room and used a kid gate to zip tie this child into the room. It was the details of this is highly disturbing. Although this child wasn't exhibiting any, like, violence, it's still negligence that can hurt this child. I didn't hear of any, you know, deep bruises or stuff like that. It's mostly food and negligence and not showing this child love and throwing this child into a room and leaving this child. And they said this child was being fed through the gate. I mean, this is inhumane. I can't imagine the mental capacity of this child. And that's, you know, we got to understand that if this child is found, how many other children out there are in similar circumstances we know nothing about? You know, I always have that to say. Guys, this is an update on Monique and Spencer Tepe. You guys may not know this case too well. I'm not going to bring up the details of this case. I wonder if they have a picture of them in this broadcast. I'm pretty sure they do. There's Michael McGee. There they are. So this is Spencer and Monique Tepe. We're finding out through News Nation and some of the work that they're doing that it seems like Monique was terrified of Mike McKee. It sounds like they weren't even married for a year. We thought that was a little bizarre that they were together for like 4 or 5 years. They got married They got married in less than a year. She's trying to do this quickie, quiet divorce. And I said, the only way you go through something like that, this man made her fear for her life. She thought she was going to die. And then we're finding out that that suggestion I made when we first started covering this case might actually be true. According to Brian Enton and his team, it is learned that she was very concerned about Mike finding her. So that tells me he was very, very abusive, very, very controlling. She confided in her friends. When things got a little tense for her, she confided in her friends several times about her fear of, and she just referred to him as her ex-husband. She never referred to him by name. She would just periodically feel uneasy. And they do believe that something triggered this in Mike, whether it was him seeing her on a social media post, or, from what we're hearing is his parents didn't live too far from her. So it might have been her running into maybe one of his family members or parents. But it seemed like she was very fearful of him finding her. And we found out that he got into their house without breaking, with no forced entry. And he shot her 9 times and shot him 7. So for a total of 16 shots being fired at them. This was a very angry man. And I just want to remind you, they were divorced for over 8 years before he violently went into their house and killed both of them, feet from their young children. And we're learning that their house is closing and it's going to have new owners in it. So, they had a beautiful, beautiful home. Anyways, that's just an update on the Spencers, the Tepe or the Tepes. I didn't want to spend too much time on it. It's been a very, very quiet case. Like, it got a lot of media attention, and then it got very, very quiet. Nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody wants to rock the boat. From everything I'm hearing, like, all of the family and friends are just very, very concerned that anything they say or do might jeopardize the case. So nobody's talking because they want Mike to pay. They loved Spencer and they loved Monique. They were such sweet individuals. So getting all the way back to Ohio, and the 16, this is kind of where the show starts, the 16 kids that have been found in an abandoned home. We want to know what happened previously. Well, this lady here, Courtney Danielle Skiles, did some research and found some information that I thought would be interesting for all of you that are following the case of the 16 children that were found in a 12 by 12 room. The grandparents and the mom and dad have all been arrested, and there are some definite questions, and I'm starting to feel like the catalyst in all of this is Gary Jr. I really feel like he is the causation of all of this. When you look at all the pictures of mom and dad from years ago, they were bright and healthy. You look at his wife from years ago, she was bright and healthy. They look hollowed out. The only person that looks exactly the same from both eras is Gary Jr. Everybody else looks like a hollowed out individual except Gary. So that tells me that he must be the ruler of the roost, and he must handle that roost with an iron fist. So I don't know, but it's definitely something we need to look into. But just to get an idea of what happened, I thought this was a great background of where they came from and what happened at that home.
About the Siders house that they used to live in before the Vinton County home. They used to live in a home in the Javeayah County area, and the neighbors and the ex-landlord is now speaking out and saying that the conditions that they left the home was not far off from how the Benton County home was found. Months before the Benton County Sheriff's Office found the 16 children in the Omar Street home, they lived in a home in the Javeayah County area. And the way that they left and how they left the home left the landlord and the neighbors with more questions than anything. I'm going to read off what's exactly in the report. A news anchor interviewed a neighbor that lived right down the street from the Siders family. Her name was Melissa Edmond. She said, "We did not know they even left for quite a while. It was just kind of an empty home, I guess. Left a mess and not really in great condition at all." Melissa lived just down the street. She said she never saw the kids, but her nephew did play with some of them a few years ago. Her sister-in-law told her that their kids had talked to them, but they didn't know them either. They didn't hang out with him or anything, possibly in 2021 or the summer of 2022, somewhere in that area. They just kind of stayed in their house and stayed to themselves. Now, while it is not clear when the Siders moved out of that home and into the Omar Street home, they know that the property was bought in May of 2026, and that's all they know. Now, this is coming from the ex-landlord. They stated a lot of kids' clothes in the attic, stuffed away like someone was living up there.
Wow.
The whole entire house was just urine, human and pet feces all throughout. So it was a pretty rough condition. It was in pretty bad condition, and a lot of it aligns with the same way that the Omar Street home was found. As of now, this is the only update that I have. Nothing new has came out. If anything new or new evidence comes out, I will keep you guys posted and let you guys know the updates. But what do you think? Do you think that they've always lived this way and in this much filth, or do you think this was a new occurring thing? This is my opinion, and my opinion only. I do believe that they have always lived in this filth, and I think that's why they avoided the school system as much as possible, because they knew that they would get reported. I also believe that they were there at the Siders home in Benton County because of reports on abuse and neglect, just like they had first stated. It had nothing to do with Gary Jr.'s indecent exposure charges. It had nothing to do with that. It was all for the information that they had received, I think, from someone very close to the family. I have a specific person that I would like to point out, but I will not in this video. But I think that that person told the police what was going on, and that added up with the truancy reports, and I think there was a few CPS reports that we do not know for facts of. But that is my opinion. We all know that CPS fails children all the time, and I think all the information was just finally adding up, and they started to investigate the Siders family. And I think that they were watching them thoroughly, and they realized that something was not right, and that's what caused them to come execute a search warrant. It was not the indecent exposure charges.
Which I kind of agree, because I said that we learned that we don't believe it's for the indecent exposure to bring guns a-blazing like they did.
But like I said, that is my opinion. It is not the facts. That is my opinion on why they were there. If any new facts or evidence does come out, like I said, I will report that and let you guys know. We got some new information.
So I thought that was really thorough for the Sider family, and what's going on there. But I've got to tell you, it has been highly, highly disturbing for me to see the family in such dire straits. And not only that, but I feel there's a piece of me that feels that Elizabeth is a victim. And I feel like we are looking at pictures of her mom and dad, his mom and dad before. It looks like they had some major illness. And I think that Gary Jr. and Elizabeth always lived in filth and like this, but it doesn't sound like Christina or Senior lived with these people. So something happened where they all decided to live together, and I think it became apparent that they were only living off, and this is another assessment I made early on in this case with not a lot of information that I found out is absolutely true. And I said that there's no way that these 16 kids were on the books getting welfare or any type of food stamps, because if they were, that would be a record of them. They would have known that there was these 16 children, and they're saying that these kids were off the books, off the record. They only even had information on 7 of them that were in school, and there's 16 of them. So there was 9 still not going to school. And so we have a history here of where Elizabeth started going around to her family and friends and demanding that they remove any photo of her previously, and that was from 2018 on. So people started removing photos of her off of Facebook. So I believe this is really Junior's doing. I believe he's the one that demanded her to be this set way. She was only 15 years old. And I believe he conditioned her to be this way. I don't think she lived like this before she met him. And I think his family, his mom and stepdad, didn't live like this. But I think they came into some major financial problems. His mom and dad were losing their mental capacity. They're the only ones that are receiving any type of government assistance, and they're using their money to use for rent of this house. And Gary's going out allegedly being this DoorDash person for a little extra money. But they live in a very desolate area, so the DoorDash business can't be that thriving in such a small community. So I can't imagine that he's making a whole lot of money, and explains why they're going at night to pick up some groceries and some little things like potato chips and some stuff that they can eat on. But it's never enough. And these people have no food and probably barely running water. And out here in this desolated area, they're probably on well water. That's probably the only free thing that they're getting. And I feel like he's acting like a cult leader. It very well may be just like that, Yvonne. We don't know. All I can say is that we can witness this person's, we can see all of these people up to a certain point, and it's like, and we start hearing that Elizabeth from 2018 is demanding people, and we have pictures of the mom and dad at 2018 looking live and thriving, and now all of these people, like 8 years later, look like they're knocking on death's door. But him? He's the only one that looks healthy? That's a problem for me. So I just thought it was a little interesting. Wanted to make sure that we covered at least some of these details. Ohio House of Horror family is under more scrutiny after reports revealed that there were 2 other marriages within the Sider family line. So they also have more marriages in the Sider family that are underage, and they were female members of the Sider family that were married at 14 and married at 15. Good morning, OG. It's nice to see you. I hope you are doing well. Positive vibes. Thank you. We do have a goal right now if you guys would like to participate and answer the goal. The question is, should we go to Mississippi to cover the Wells case, boots on the ground? Let me know your answer while supporting the channel. You can also put your answer into the chat box below if you so choose. We do appreciate each and every one of you guys being here, so thank you. We're covering the case of the Siders. We're moving past them at this point because we've got more cases to cover, and one of those cases is Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He's not on he's on our thumbnail. You just can't see him because I'm kind of in the way. If you see it right here, let me move out. There's Sebastian right there. So we do have him on the thumbnail. We just don't have him as a main subject. So why is this thing doing that? I feel like it's like with my I think we'll pull it over this way. There we go. Oh, I already watched it, apparently.
New tonight, the father of missing child Sebastian Rogers now filing 2 federal lawsuits against the Sumner County Sheriff's Office and State Department of Children's Services. Welcome to News 2 Now at 10. I'm Haley Wilkes.
And I'm Bob Mueller. Sebastian Rogers disappeared from his Hendersonville home in 2024. The search was scaled back only a week later. His case sparked national conversations with social media personalities scrutinizing the investigation. Even Dog the Bounty Hunter got involved.
But now his father, Seth Rogers, is suing the sheriff's office. The lawsuit alleges the case was mishandled by allowing people to enter a crime scene and abandoned early by detectives. When that search was scaled back, the paperwork alleges only 1 detective was assigned to the case.
I don't even know if a tip comes in, if I shouldn't track it down, because I don't know if they can do their job properly. Because so far they haven't. Their lack of communication with the public, their lack of communication with me is all telling me that they don't care that my son is missing.
The lawsuit claims the Department of Children's Services was involved in the home where Sebastian Rogers lived, but detectives did not take that information into account. Rogers is also suing DCS, but that lawsuit is sealed.
A parent demands answers. We demand answers because our heart is missing. He is my world. I need him. I need him back with me.
Seth Rogers is seeking $10 million in damages and wants the case to be reopened and a new active investigation started into Sebastian's disappearance. We reached out to the Sumner County Sheriff's Office for a statement on the lawsuit, but have not yet heard back. Now, last August, the Sumner County District Attorney said there is more work to be done and they are searching for answers in this case. To read the full lawsuit, head to our website at WKRN.com.
All I know is it should be local media out there in this area pushing for answers for this young boy in their community. And unfortunately, they are not. This is driving me nuts. I'm probably going to kick this thing down. Hold on, I'm doing something else. I noticed that every time I move my, I wonder why my regular camera doesn't work on here whenever I do that, but that's okay. We'll move it back to, whoops, wrong one. E-meet. Probably not going to do anything about it. We're just off, so until we, oh, it looks like we got back. Okay. So I might be able to roll with this. We'll see how well we do. But we do have the document here, and I think one of the biggest problems I have is the report findings. I'm going to have to use my glasses for this. I can't read. Well, yeah, I might be able to read. So it says through CPIT. Now, CPIT stands for Child Protective Investigative Team. Okay, so the Department of Children and Family Services has this Child Protective Investigative Team called CPIT. The CPIT includes MCSO, which is Sumner County Sheriff's Office, Juvenile Court, Ashley's Place Child Advocacy Center, and District Assistant DA Jenny Smith. And this was on November 3rd, 2022. November 3rd, 2022, okay? This is not the 2023 gut punch incident. This is a different incident in November 2022 and again in May 2023. So we have November 2022, then we got December, January, February, March, April, and May. 6 months later, we've got another report again in May, on May 23rd, or excuse me, May 2023. And the SCSO participated in CPIT proceedings regarding Sebastian, the DCS case, and detectives were assigned to the case through CPIT. So they had actual detectives assigned to Sebastian's case. So this is the one problematic. We're going to go over this more in detail as the information, as we go through it. When we do we'll do a live for just Sebastian by himself, okay? So through the CPIT's proceedings, the DCS records, records, law enforcement knew or should have known the following about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He had been essayed by a peer in California over a period of weeks. So this had happened for a period of weeks. That's new details we did not know. So Katie allowed this stuff to go on for weeks without proper supervision. That's just disturbing. Which included, and I'm not going to go through all that. You guys you guys can see the paperwork yourself. Pull out my glasses to see it. I don't have my glasses on. Sebastian was afraid of his stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, and feared of being hurt if his stepfather found out about the essay. So Sebastian when he was hurt by this older boy, his fear was more about his stepfather finding out than anything. Chris admitted to DCS of whacking Sebastian in the belly. Whacking. So that's basically, he says, I whacked him. That's a punch. He punched this boy in the belly. Neighbors reported, allegedly, and in my opinion, to keep me in the good graces of the courts, neighbors reported that Proudfoot hated the child and wanted the child to die. This is what a neighbor told investigators about Christopher Proudfoot. This is in black and white. And then I hear some stupid BS channel criticizing Seth about the financial aspect of it. First of all, you don't get things done in this country without making it hurt. Okay? You don't affect changes going in there and trying to go after a county for XYZ money. And for all these boneheads that are out here, like on Queen Bee's pathetic channel, that sits there and rags a father that's missing his child over yet again another criminal, just like in Don Wells' case. It seems like Queen Bee and her crew of misfits literally sits there and finds out the biggest piece of garbage out there that do terrible things to children, and then they want to go and protect those terrible people. And she literally has an audience that sit there and roos her on to help these terrible people that have abused children, punched children in their stomach. But this is from a lady that sits there and says her older daughter is the one that was never home, is the one that put the strangulation marks on her younger daughter's throat. Queen Bee, don't you have some things you gotta... Now, let me ask you something, Queen Bee. Is the reason why you're always protecting these terrible parents that abuse children, is it because you abuse your own child or children? I mean, I'm just asking for a few people out here because I have these questions. Because I've never met a piece of shit that literally finds the biggest dirtbags of parents and then sits there and tries to cover their case and twist it and make them look like they're in a positive light. Chris said in the report with law enforcement, the neighbors reported, Queen Bee, I want you to answer this. You sick piece of crap. I would like to find out, what do you truly believe here? Because the reports that you don't get to see shows Chris admitting to punching this boy in the stomach. What do you have to say? You ogre, disgusting piece of crap. And your little toy boy, B. Tim, what's his name? Tim, I got your name, by the way. So the next time you want to run your gator about Bullhorn Betty, you can deal with Bullhorn Betty yourself. I got your name. I know where you're from. Mr. Bronx. Ghetto piece of garbage. So now Chris is abusing these people, and they're on their panel trying to give him a plug. How do you guys... I want to ask these people that support that garbage channel. Had I did that 2 years ago, you guys would have been jumping down my throat. But it's okay for Queen Bee. It's so funny. You know what she said yesterday? Let me tell you what she said yesterday. After all the shit she's talked about me and everybody else on this platform, and she goes out there to those court records and gets these little complaints and says, look how horrible this person is. Look, it's in the court record. Look. Right? And then yesterday she's like, oh, well, it's just allegations. You know, this is just what they're saying. It's just allegations. Oh, my God, it's just allegations. Oh, really? But you weren't saying that when you were smearing all these umpteen million other people on these same things, right? You weren't saying that whenever it was you on the other end of that, Miss Rebecca, was it? Was it? Was it when you were on the other end of this, Miss Rebecca? Is the reason why you protect all these people is because you abuse your own children? I'm asking you, Queen Bee. I'd like you to answer it. I'll be waiting for your answer on your show. So we know that Jelly Pot that girl over there thinks she's got the honey. Likes to protect child abusers. Maybe because she's one herself. I don't know. Maybe you should go over there and ask her. Ask her about her child. Ask her why her child had strangulation marks around her own child's neck. Oh, she's going to blame it on her older child. She's going to blame the felony on her older child. She throws her older child under the bus with a felony of strangulation of her younger daughter. Interesting. So neighbors reported. I wonder how she's going to answer this. Neighbors reported. This is what neighbors reported. This is what's in the record, in the official criminal record that law enforcement has, because this is where this guy is getting it from. And he says that the neighbors reported that Proudfoot, that's Chris Proudfoot, hated the child and wanted the child to die. That's what the neighbor said he heard Chris say. I wonder how Queen Bee and the other misfits, Granny's watching, barbecue lady, you pieces of shit that like to protect child abusers. Again, I got a question for you. Didn't many of you have your own children taken from you? Is the reason why you guys are protecting these piss poor people, is it because you like to abuse your own children? Because nobody in their right mind would protect mom and stepdad under these circumstances. Nobody. Unless they've done these type of things themselves, just not to this degree. That's the only way you find support for pieces of garbage like Chris and Katie Proudfoot. So I've got to ask the ladies that had most of their children taken from them, is that the reason why you protect these bad guys? I'd like an answer to that. I'd like an answer to that, you POSs. I told you, when shit starts coming out, I was going to come after you and I was going to smear you. Shit's starting to come out. It's time for you guys to now pay the piper. Because you've lied and deceived your audience for all of this time. Well, now, what you got to say? The only thing you guys got to say is these people, the reason why you stick up for them so much is because they remind you of you. They remind you of you. So Granny's watching. Why don't you tell your audience how many children you've had taken out of your custody by the Department of Children and Family Services? Barbecue lady, why don't you tell the world how many children you've had taken from the Department of Children and Family Services? Queen Bee, why don't you tell them about the investigations you've gone under from the Department of Children and Family Services? Oh, you don't like me putting your business out there. Keep talking that shit about Seth. I double dog dare you. Double dog dare you. Keep talking that shit about Seth. So Chris hated the child and wanted him to die. I wonder what all three of these women have to say about that. Because there's nothing they can say about me. No more. You guys can bring my past up all you want. But you know what I'm not doing? Birds of a feather. Yes, ma'am. Birds of a feather. You know what I'm not doing, you POSs? I'm not protecting people that injure children. Now we've got 2 cases where you guys have protected the bad guy. Man, you guys are getting quite the reputation, aren't you? Aren't you? Wow, I'd love to see how you are planning on spinning this. The DCS determined. I wonder how they're going to spin this. These piece of shit content creators. Queen Bee, how you going to spin this? Huh? Huh, you ho-ho-ho? Granny? Barbecue? How you going to spin this, cupcakes? Listen to this. DCS determines Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers was at serious or imminent risk of removal from the Proudfoot hole. That's in their reports, you dumb idiots. That was in their reports. What you going to say about Betty now? Oh, that I was right? That you owe me an apology? I'll be waiting for it, because you boos were the ones coming to me. If you're wrong, are you willing to apologize to Chris and Katie Proudfoot? Come on, Betty. Or you're going to apologize to them? Remember that. I'm waiting for my apologies. You guys are so all adamant about everybody else apologizing. We'll wait for you to cough that apology up. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting, you ho-ho-hos. I'll be waiting. Imminent risk of removal from their home. Wow. Wow. They've been lying and scheming. Woo, doggy. Ooh, doggy. Okay. Okie dokie, McSmokey. Now, as we get on over to Nolan Wells, 18-year-old football star, he went out with his friends. Listen, I don't care about Al Sharpton or Crump. I don't think this is racial. I mean, granted, we have black and white kids, okay? We got different colored kids all over this country, okay? I'm sorry, parents, Wells parents. I can't imagine what you're going through, and I know you guys got to pull out whatever resources you can to fight for your son, and I get it. Don't make this racial. I think making this racial, it diminishes your beautiful son. It diminishes your beautiful son because this is not a racist thing. Those were his friends. And even if his friends did some bonehead shit, even if your son did some bonehead shit, we don't know what happened just yet. It doesn't mean that this was racially motivated, and I denounce and absolutely offended that Al Sharpton and Crump are making those allegations because their son chose white friends. Okay? And you cannot tell me that those friends beat him up or drowned him or murdered him because he was black. I don't believe it. I don't think America believes that argument. I think we need to get over this bullshit. This is not how we resolve things, making it a racial problem. Kids in high school and college do stupid shit all the time, no matter what color their skin is. Okay? I'm tired of the skin color always being the prominent argument. The bottom line is this 18-year-old child died under suspicious circumstances, and we need the answer: white, black, green, or yellow with pink polka dots. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So we're going to cover this case the way I feel this case needs to be covered, and it's properly, okay? This child died after being out with friends, just like that girl in Kentucky. Guess what? She was out with white friends too, okay? So it doesn't matter. The bottom line is kids do stupid shit all the time, and sometimes their friends die as a direct result of the stupid shit. So I'm not willing to call these kids racists after their friend died, okay? I'd like to get some more facts. I don't wield those types of allegations unnecessarily. I think we need to get to the bottom of it, and I'm hearing the parents. Listen, I know something happened out there, and I don't believe the kids, okay? So we're there. I think that we all understand the core facts of this case, and our hearts bleed for mommy and daddy. They really do. I can't imagine. We cover these cases all the time. It's never easy. I know what kind of pain that they're going through. I've seen it myself. I've seen it raw. I've held it in my arms. I know the pain. I haven't experienced the pain, but I know the pain. I've seen the pain. I've held the pain. I know what they're going through in part. But we need to get the facts of the case. These are young individuals. If he got drunk and got swept out to sea and they thought they were at fault, they will lie. Okay? It doesn't mean that they committed a crime. It doesn't mean that they murdered anybody. There are a lot of details here that are highly concerning. Highly concerning. But I think we need to be responsible here. First of all, if there was an altercation, I doubt it had anything to do with the color of his skin. Okay? Again, I don't want to make a racial issue out of this case when there's no racial issue here. I absolutely believe if his friends saw him in an altercation with somebody else, they would have intervened and they would have immediately called for help. Now, if they were doing substances, drinking in excess, or just so piss poor drunk, which, let's face it, we've seen kids like that where they've literally didn't even realize their friend was missing. I don't believe that aspect of it. I do believe that something else more happened out there at the island that nobody wants to talk about. I don't know what it is, but again, I don't believe it's racially motivated. So I'm going to stay on my side of the aisle with this racial motivation. I don't believe that it is a factor in this case, and I want to be very clear on that. No matter who is involved, no matter what we find out, I don't believe white or black was the defining issue of why this young black man is dead. Okay? So I want to make sure I'm very clear on that. And I understand the pain that his family is in, and they're just wanting any attention that they can to their son's case so their son gets a thorough review. And in all fairness, Al Sharpton and Crump has because of who they are, they've been able to get this child's funeral paid for and his second opinion autopsy paid for. Tyler Perry is paid for his funeral. The autopsy is being paid for by Kaepernick. So, I mean, they are helping the family get to the bottom line of this. And I do know that when you have Al Sharpton, just like Miss Jennifer Coffindaffer says, whenever you have Al Sharpton and Crump involved, you know, it's about money, and it is. It's about generating revenue. It's about, you know, getting some donations coming in because this is what they do. And in all fairness, this is how they have to support these type of advocacies. Al Sharpton can't be Al Sharpton without having, you know, money behind his name to help push the advocacy, and that's what people don't understand. So I'm not totally against the whole thing that Al Sharpton and Crump brings to the table, because they bring power. And when you feel you're at a disadvantage, the only problem is they believe everything is freaking racism, and that's the one thing I can't stand about them. I believe that they could be so much more powerful without this, you know, anti-white sentiments at every single thing that comes out of their mouth. It's just unnecessary. It's just, in my opinion, it's unnecessary. Now, if we see true racism, that's what we need to be screaming racism about. But when you're the boy that cries wolf every time there's a white or black conversation, when there's true racism, everybody tunes it out. Why? Because you're constantly screaming racism when we all know that this isn't racism. So that's the only concern that I have. But again, I absolutely believe in the advocacy. Without people like Al Sharpton and Crump, you know, stepping up and bringing some attention to cases, there are a lot of cases that would go by the wayside. So no matter how you look at this stuff, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I'm never going to criticize activists or people that bring something to the table for these cases. However they bring them to the table, I mean, let's be honest, I will scream racism from the frickin' rooftops if I think it's going to bring attention to a case. You guys know it. You've seen me do it. I did it in Kathleen Moore's case, right? It was right off the heels of, I even called JB Bruno, the JB, hey JB, I called him a racist. Live! He blocked me. I don't know if he's unblocked me yet, but that was like back in 2022, and we were covering this Kathleen Moore case, and it was this young black woman that had a kind of a sketchy past, you know, and she was dating this burly white guy off and on. They've been seeing each other, you know, several times, you know, and we were the only ones out there covering the case. There was literally no media, no nothing out there. And I'm like, oh, we do media for the blonde hair, blue-eyed girl, but we don't do it for the black woman that's missing under the same circumstances? Are you MFers racist? ABC, are you racist? Spectrum 9, are you racist? Well, I can tell you, after me screaming racism, within an hour, we had ABC Channel 8, Spectrum News, like, you know, they're like, oh shit, we need to get out of here. Betty's calling us racist. We're out in front of Gabby Petito's house, but not in front of Kathleen Moore's house. So, I mean, you know, I understand. You know, I get it. I get it. And so I'm not going to criticize it. I'm really not, because you've got to use the resources you have to get the attention you need. Just like I said with Nancy Guthrie, you're going to pull whatever resource. When it comes to your family and your child, you're going to pull whatever resources you have, okay? And if that's Al Sharpton and Crump, well, that's what you've got for resources. And you know what? It's a damn good resource. Again, we've got funeral expenses paid by Tyler Perry. We've got Kaepernick paying for the independent autopsy. These are resources that this family would probably not be able to do had it not been for these people coming into her sphere, their sphere, and giving them these resources. So I know it's so easy to criticize, but in all fairness, it's stuff that is needed. So I'm running out of time here, guys. We're gonna have to speed this up if we're gonna be done by 10 or 10:15. Let me see when Seth is going on. I think I might have a little extra time. Give me just a second. There it is. It is scheduled at 11 a.m. So I got a little bit of time. Okay, I'm not in such a crunch. We still have 2 hours before it comes on. About an hour and a half before we need to wrap up in an hour and a half. I think I can do the rest of this in an hour and a half. So let's listen to this new audio related to Nolan Wells. I hate these.
Mississippi. A mom of one of the friends last week said the group...
Let's listen.
New audio shedding light on the moments before some of Nolan Wells' friends left Horn Island off the coast of Mississippi. A mom of one of the friends last week said the group left without Nolan when their boat began malfunctioning.
We're sinking. Can you all please come?
NBC News has obtained audio as part of a records request that details the group calling for towing assistance.
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Whoa, I didn't know they had boating problems. So they had boating problems to boot. So he wasn't on the boat. So that means that they were being... Wow. I don't like this.
Can you all please come?
NBC News has obtained audio as part of a records request that details the group calling for towing assistance.
And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's on board.
Nolan went to the island in a boat with friends on July 4th. His body was found 2 days later. It's unclear whether Nolan was with anyone when he disappeared. This as the search for answers in the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells continues. His family's attorneys saying they'll now work side by side with investigators to analyze Nolan's cell phone. Nolan's parents previously said they believe content may have been deleted from the phone. The case will be presented to a Mississippi grand jury once the investigation is complete. The local district attorney telling NBC News that's a standard practice for cases with an unknown cause of death and not an indication that a crime was committed.
Yeah, I'm not convinced. We need more information. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I mean, this stinks to high heaven, but my problem is that we know teenagers. And we know that if there's any semblance of a problem, if anybody gets injured, they don't want nothing to do with it because they don't want to get in trouble. They don't think clearly like adults think. Their brains are not developing. They handle stresses a lot differently because they don't have any experience dealing with real stress and real adult problems. So we've got these issues. What is it? Hold on one second. Let me go through here and read some of this. But Sharpton also creates division. He does. But you know what, Rocco? Unfortunately, at the end of the day, I create division and sometimes create issues, because sometimes that's what you need to do when you're an activist. You need to isolate issues, and sometimes, there is a good sector of this country that think white people are just the Antichrist, okay? And there is, it is a fairly large group of people that are anti-cop, anti-white, whatever. And Al Sharpton, in all fairness, kind of panders to that mindset. And it's unfortunate, but it's still a mindset that helps fund these things. And at the end of the day, when you have a case like this, you have to have money. You have to have money to fight the government, because the government is very powerful. And when they want to shut a case down, they can shut a case down and shut a family out. And they have the ability to do that. And so without attorneys and court records and being able to fight, that all takes money. You've got to hedge that with something. And like, we are here and we know that this has nothing, whether this guy was, even if he was murdered by a white guy, it had nothing to do with the color of his skin. And that's the problem. That's the problem I have, is that, you know, we're bringing in a racism when racism wasn't the reason for what we're dealing with here. Now, they could feel that maybe he's not going to get the type of investigation he would get if he was white, because that's their mindset, and for this sector of people. And again, this is the sector of people that Al Sharpton represents, and they're the people that fund him. So you've got to understand that. Yeah, I agree with you. He does create division. And it's unfortunate that he creates division, but at the end of the day, he does bring a service. Would this family have a funeral paid for without Al Sharpton and Crump involved? Would they have a second autopsy paid for if it wasn't for them two being involved? The answer is no. They would not have those resources. So do you think the parents really care if there's division in this world when it comes to their child and getting answers to what happened to their child? They don't give a shit. I wouldn't give a shit. You wouldn't give a shit if it was your kid. We don't care. We need money to fight the government and to find out what happened to my son, and that's what these people are providing. So, in all fairness, I mean, we can look at it from different ways and different angles, but I try to be as honest as possible. And if something happened to me or my family, I'm going to take whatever help I can get. That's going to get me to my goal of finding out what the hell happened. And so I don't blame these parents whatsoever. I'm just going to constantly bring this back to where it needs to be. And it's not a racial issue. Okay? This is not a racial crime. We see racial crimes all the time. This is not it. Now, he may have died at the hands, he may have been murdered. And he may have lost his life by getting too intoxicated or taking substances and going out in the water, or there's been known rip currents out here in this area. So we don't truly know what we're dealing with just yet. We know that something isn't making sense, but what is it? Because kids, again, like I said, they will, if somebody died in front of them, they're going to be freaking out. They're going to be, they don't want to be responsible for it, and they don't want to get in trouble for it. So they're going to lie, even though it had nothing to do with them or violence or anything like that. They're going to lie because they don't know how to handle this. So we have to apply that here. Now, I'm not saying that that's what it is. I'm just saying we don't know what it is. And there's a lot of interpretations where we sit right now. And I'm not willing to accuse 18-somethings of terrible crimes when I don't know what the hell is going on. Okay? Because that can screw up those children for life. These children already lost a friend. So that means that somebody in that group's going to probably, if they are not already an alcoholic, will turn into an alcoholic and start going down a path of substance abuse. This is the way the body works. This is why it is so important whenever you deal with trauma, you go and get therapy for that trauma. Because a lot of stuff that we deal with as adults happened to us in our 18 and below age group. So this event here is going to already screw up at least one of the students there, okay? In addition to the child that lost their life. And they may not even have had anything to do with it. So I'm very cognizant that what we do to young children and how we speak to them does affect them in their future. And this right here is, they're not children. They're 18 years old. We can conclude, no matter how you look at it, Donna, and you can fact check this, their brains are not developed. Okay? Their brains don't stop developing until they're about 25 years old. So in my mind, when you don't have a fully developed brain, you are a child. I don't care how old you are. You are a child, in my mind. Now, legally, lawfully, you're 18 years old, you're an adult, you make your own decisions, you are financially responsible for yourself. The only thing that this does is if they did hurt somebody, or this is a result of negligence or something like that, and somebody lost their life from gross negligence, not homicide, the parents won't be on the hook, the child will be on the hook, and the child that has absolutely zero anything to sue. So I think if I think laws need to be written, if your child's living at home, you're responsible for that child up to the age of 25. If that child's at home. After the child's at 25 and still living at home, well, that child's now an adult. I think it needs to be something like that. But if you're still taking care of your child at home as your child and you're paying for all of their expenses, then they're dependent upon you and you should be financially responsible for them. I'm sorry, you should. Whose boat were they in? Were they in one of the parents' boats? Now that person now just took liability because somebody just died on their boat. Now, if it's not their son's boat and it's a parent's boat, we got an Alec Murdaugh type of situation, do we not? Now we got some parents that can be brought in and on the hook if they knew that their child was drinking and the child was drinking. See, what happened in Kentucky with the girl that was left behind and found dead, the driver of the boat was arrested for driving under the influence. He wasn't charged with her homicide yet if he did do something to her, but he definitely was charged with operating a motor vehicle under the influence of alcohol. There's been no charges in this case with Nolan Wells. They're not going after low-hanging fruit, and with Mississippi's history of racial tension, this is a problem. This is a problem. So I'm very, very keen to the issues here. I think that the racism aspect of it, I don't think is really specific to I don't think it's specific to the students. I think it's to the investigators investigating this. Because he's black, is he going to get the same type of investigation that a white individual would get in this area? And we do have to remember Mississippi has been plagued with a lot of racial issues over the last 50, 60 years. So we can't excuse that, and we have to look at that. Is he in a racially divided community? Maybe his friends weren't racist or racial, and maybe they are understanding that. Maybe that's not their concern. Maybe their concern is with the investigators and the investigators not doing right by their son because he's black and they are a racist community. It might be something like that. And that I could, we don't know. I mean, I believe it or not, I've been one of these people that believe in 2026 that our racial, let me catch up. So I'm still off a little bit. That's okay. But I believe in 2026, our racial issues have died down quite a bit from where we were once upon a time. Okay. But I have been in communities where racism is live and well. Okay. We were in Graham, North Carolina. Now, they're not really racist against, and maybe they are against black people, but it really was with the Hispanic population. And they took their sheriff to court, and the allegations were upheld by the courts. Their government was very, very much a racist government. So, we do know that these things do still exist. Mississippi is just one of those states that has a really, really disturbing past when it comes to black and white issues and, history of, lynching black men and burning crosses in the front yards of black homes. Now, granted, this is not something that's happened recently. Obviously we've come a long way as a country, but there's still those tensions in a lot of places. And I know even growing up, there was tensions in places in Georgia that I visited. There was communities in Georgia that there would not be a black family in that community. A black family would never even consider moving into that community because it was dangerous for them. And that was when I was a little girl. So I know that you're never going to be able to take the hate out of people that are just hateful, right? But we're not reaching those hateful people, and we got hateful people in all different shapes, colors, and sizes, right? We try to find the people out there, the humans out there that want harmony instead of chaos, right? And we're never going to get there because, again, we can't change people's hearts. We can only be who we are as human beings. I hate the idea that this is a racial conversation, but it is Mississippi. We know the history of Mississippi. It's not like we can look past it. I'm just trying to be fair here and be as, but I personally do not believe that his death has anything to do with the color of his skin. Now, if they're concerned about racial issues, it might be with the investigation instead of the students. Maybe the parents too, trying to protect their kids and, they don't want that, I told you not, we don't know what these people are like. We really don't. And I'm not going to go to bat for the community. I'm not going to go to bat for the government. I'm not going to bat for anybody. I don't know these people. I don't know any of these people. I don't know this community. I don't know. All I can tell you is that there is a family that has a son that is dead, and they want answers. And they're going to do anything and everything that they can, to get those answers. Whatever means necessary. And if that means calling people racist, then by God, if that gets them to the answer to find their son, have at it, right? I just personally don't believe that this is a racially motivated case. That's just me. Now, the investigators, are they not doing all of their job that they need to be doing because he's black? Maybe that's their only concern. I can get on board with something like that, but not the students. Those kids looked happy. They looked like they were friends. I'm not willing to say that those friends of his murdered him because he's black. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to say it. It's not coming on this show in that narrative. I'm not going to be part of the problem in this country. We're going to talk about the case and talk about the legitimacy and the factual makeup of the case. And that's where we're going to be here on the Bullhorn Betty Show. My heart bleeds for their parents. And bless you, parents. I want to tell you, I do not find fault in you at all for bringing Al Sharpton or Crump or even making this potentially a racial issue. I don't care. At the end of the day, you got to do you. You need to find answers for your son, and I support that. And I think everybody should support that. And we support activists in this country, whether we agree with the activists or not, because I can tell you I'm an activist, and I get support from activists that don't agree with me. Okay? And by default, I give other activists supports even when I don't agree with them, because they have a right to be here. They have a right for their speech as well, and they have a right to do their thing. And at the end of the day, they are helping this family. We cannot deny that Al Sharpton and Crump are helping this family. Okay? Whether we agree with the speech that they're doing to get this family help, most whites are inherently racist. I totally disagree with that. Mm-mm. I think people want to make it that way, because I look at when you're born, you don't look at people. You're trained that way. So no, you're not inherently. You're trained. You're taught. And for people to have hate, you do not have hate when you're born. Have you look? You got a picture of a child with you. You cannot tell me when your child was born that your child was born with hate in her heart. I totally disagree with that. That whole premise of we're inherently racist. Absolutely disagree. Children are not born hateful. They're taught. So if your child is being hateful to somebody because of the color of their skin, well, I would look at yourself. And you may be like, you might not like that thing, but that is true. If your child is inherently racist, it's your fault. Because there's a lot of children in here that have white skin that are not inherently racist, because their parents aren't hateful. They love everybody. So when you're teaching your children that, then you're teaching them to be racist. You're teaching them to judge and be different around blacks versus whites or browns versus whites. And I think that that's terrible. I think that's a terrible lesson to teach a child. Everybody is equal. That means when you get mad at somebody, it doesn't matter what color their skin is. You shouldn't be called racist because you're mad with somebody that has a different color skin than you. Okay? Because I'm telling you, for me, I'll tell somebody to get bit, like off. I'll tell it to anybody. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what your religion is. And I don't care what the color of your skin is. If you step on my toes, I'm stepping back. If you have something disrespectful to me, I'm going to have something disrespectful to you. You step to me, I step to you. I don't care. I don't care where you come from. I treat everybody equally. I treat everybody equally. I don't care if you're white, black, green with pink polka dots. I don't care. You're nice to me, I love you. You nasty to me, I'll be your worst enemy. I can do that a lot better than you can. That's the school I come from, and I think that's the school that most people come from. And then we're constantly told we're inherently racist because we have a problem with anybody, and we can only argue with white people. That's racist. When you tell somebody that is racist. People are all the same. And when you start dividing them because of color, that's a you thing, not a we thing. Anyways, guys, getting on with this, we have some updates in Lynette Hooker's case. A mom of woman lost at sea. Chilling new theory. Good gracious, I can't speak today. And this was, it looks like, coming from the Daily Beast, potentially. And it says, the mother of a Michigan woman who vanished during a boat trip in the Bahamas has cast fresh doubt on accounts of her daughter's disappearance, saying she now believes there was foul play months after Lynette Hooker disappeared while vacationing with her husband. They were not vacationing. They lived on the boat. I hate that word vacationing. They were living the boat life. It's like the van life, but on a boat. Brian Hooker, her mother, Darlene Hamlet, told Fox News Digital she believes her daughter made it back to the couple's sailboat before she vanished. She was back onto the boat and there was foul play. Though she declined to explain how she reached this conclusion, as a mother, it's taking longer than I would anticipate, but that's what Coast Guards told me to say. That's all I'm saying. So they did get permission from the Coast Guard to make some assessments. So that's what she's making. That's according to her. Brian Hooker has consistently maintained that Lynette fell from the dinghy during the night trip that was swept away by strong currents. Her body has never been recovered. Now, I will tell you that is unusual. You typically don't have a woman go overboard and then find out that they're never found again. Because when a person drowns, they sink. They sink. This is salt water, so you have salinity in there. So you're not really going to sink to the bottom of the ocean. You're going to sink, probably partially halfway through the water, and then the salt in the water will keep you somewhat buoyant in that water. You're not going to sink to the floor. But then at some point, as your body starts breaking down, it produces gas, and it bloats the body. The body actually fills with gases, and you look like a blimp. In reality, I mean, it really, your everything swells. Your hands, your feet, your legs, your abdomen, your face. You look like a puffer fish. Okay, it for lack of better terms. I know it's very graphic and it's probably not very appealing to somebody, listening to this about, becoming a puffer fish when you die. But that's basically what happens. Your body sinks as far as it can go. If you're in fresh water, you're probably sinking all the way to the floor bottom in fresh water. But when you're in salt water, you're never going to probably make it to the floor bottom. But your body starts filling up with these gases, and it pushes you to, it brings you like a flotation device straight up to the water. So that's what happened to Riley Strain. He went into the water. He was introduced into the water at this one spot. We don't know how he fell in, but he fell in and he drowned. He was so drunk when he fell in, he must have hit his head and didn't even realize he drowned. He couldn't lift up his head anymore. And he was found 14 days later, and he had been pinned kind of under a large log that was floating in the water. But his body came up and they were able to find him. Why? Because the reason why, it was cooler water out there, so it was going to take 10 to 14 days for that body to surface. They knew that it could take up to that long for it to surface, and sure enough, within 14 days, we did have Riley Strain. And so we should, at this point, have Lynette Hooker. There's so many islands there that are being watched and just walked on for privacy, and people that are out there, especially the summertime. and there's no body that washed up on shore, that tells us something. That tells us that she was most likely concealed. She was hidden. She's been secured. And yesterday I showed you guys a video of their boat when Carly went on it for the first time. And you see, as soon as you get on the boat and you go down underneath, there's like seats right there before you go into the galley, like go down the galley steps, right? You got to go down, walk down. But up there on the top is seating. It's like bench seating. And on one side of that opening is a duffel bag with all these ropes rummaged through and pulled out of this bag. And then directly on the other side are weights. That's a telltale sign for me. And that's how they saw this boat when they got on board. So that's telling me rope and weights. That doesn't sound like she's buried on land. That sounds like she's secured somewhere where it's not going to be visible with drones. And we got mangroves there. That's a good probability of where she's at. We got good mangroves there. Plus we also have the docks and the yachts. The docks and the yachts, they've been out there for months in this one general area. Months. So they would know which yachts don't have anybody living aboard, which docks are all rented, and you could definitely tie a human being up to one of those poles that hold those docks up. Lynette was in a bay. I think it's something like that. So I just thought it was pretty freaking interesting that we have this Coast Guard. You know, nobody believes it. Her mom's getting information from the Coast Guard that states that Lynette is deceased. They have evidence that she was found deceased on this boat, that they believe that she died before 8 p.m. And for them to give them those specific times, that tells me that they have to have some really strong evidence. I'm thinking they've got this on video. They got something on video from their boat. Their boat had a lot of cameras on it, which, in all fairness, is probably going to be the one thing that gives us the most. I think the videos and what they uncover through their digital evidence investigation, I think it's going to be very hard for those investigators. I think they're going to hear Miss Lynette getting injured a lot on this boat, being beaten by her husband a lot, being injured, and him, you know, I feel like we know that this wasn't a one-time event. We know that this happened regularly, but what do they really have? I feel like the Coast Guard's got a lot when it comes to Lynette Hooker. I really do. I feel like they've got quite the package for Brian. And just kind of bringing us back to the first attorney Brian had in the Bahamas.
Well, we did a police interview in which he was questioned about the disappearance of his wife.
Has he been charged with anything?
No, he has not been charged. We completed the interview, and the officers will review the entire file and then make a decision. He was questioned in relation to causing harm, which resulted in her death, but we have no evidence that, or at least we've not been informed of any evidence that any body has been recovered or any information in relation to her death.
And he still denies causing her death?
He definitely denies causing her death, and he's still asking about her and is hopeful that she will be recovered.
You guys were in there for about 4 hours. I mean, can you just get into what were they asking about?
They went into intensive questioning, talking about their personal life before, what people said, just general information about their relationship when they came here, just general information. It wasn't until really near to the end that they got into the specifics And of course, he was confronted with the allegations from his stepdaughter. He was a bit puzzled because he was uncertain as to why they were questioning him about causing harm or possible murder when they had not given him any information in terms of where she is, if they had recovered her.
So there you guys have it. Like, you know, she was answering questions. She was trying to answer what she could. You know, she didn't, you know, it's his attorney. She doesn't really know a whole lot either. You know, she's got to protect him. And because she doesn't know a lot, they need to bring the case to her and show her the evidence. And apparently she, you know, in the Bohemian, I'm interested in whether our U.S. Coast Guard has those interview details, the interrogation details, but it sounds like he did sit down for a 4-hour interrogation with his attorney in the Bahamas, and they completed that. So I'm very interested in what was stated in that interrogation, or whether the United States Coast Guard will release that before they charge him, because once they charge them, pretty much they're going to be gagged from saying anything. Like, we need to get all of this stuff out before any charges happen if we're going to have the information. So I'm very interested in it, to say the least. I'm very interested in it, to say the least. Are we getting closer to Lynette Hooker's case? I think, and I said this before, if you haven't been on the show, I believe Lynette Hooker's case will be resolved before any of our other cases. At the time, we had Sebastian Rogers, Nancy Guthrie, Summer Wells. They were all kind of, you know, active. And I said between all 4 of those cases, Lynette Hooker, in my opinion, is going to be the one that's solved first, because she's got the feds. The feds are elite. It doesn't matter if there's Coast Guard, the FBI, or whatever. When we go to our federal investigators, our federal partners, they are literally trained. We spend a lot, like $250,000 per agent or more. Some of those, it cost us $1 million to train for their experience and their education and stuff like that. We train our FBI and our federal agents. We spend a lot, and I mean a lot of money, training them on investigative skills. So when we have a gold standard like the FBI or the Coast Guard running an investigation, you're going to get answers a lot quicker than saying some humpy-dunk, you know, sheriff like Sumner County or Pima County, where you have a good old voice system or a criminal sheriff running the outfit. You're never going to get shit done. And it's never going to be done in a timely fashion. So I knew going into this case, when I found out the Coast Guard was getting involved with Lynette Hooker, that she was most likely going to be resolved before any of our other cases are resolved. Now we've taken on a few other cases, you know, of course, and these cases might be resolved. We don't know what's going on with Nolan Wells. We're covering Nolan Wells' case. But what the heck is going on? I must have hit my camera. But I can tell you, I don't believe it's a racial issue with Nolan Wells. If I truly believed it was a racial issue, I would say it. I've got no reason to argue. There is racism in this country. I've seen it front and center, even as early as 2024 when I covered the Alec Murdaugh case, and I went to that restaurant where Paul Murdaugh and his friends went and hung out and got drunk with Mallory Beach. I went to that restaurant. I went in there, and of course they knew I wasn't a regular, so they kind of looked at me and we started talking. And when I talked about Judge Newman, and they kind of, you know, my how I like Judge Newman, they kind of looked at me like with 4 eyes, and I realized where I was, and that the people there in that specific area of South Carolina are anti-black people. So I found that out when I was there, and I ended up taking my wings to go, and I ate them back at my room because I wasn't going to sit in that freaking restaurant. You know, those are not my people. So I have seen it. I've seen it. I've experienced it. I'm not going to lie to my audience about it. I think lying is what keeps these issues going on for longer, but I like to expose real racism, but I also like to denounce the people that scream racism when it's not racist. People die all the time. There's a lot of accidents. It sounded like his friends cared about him and loved him. I don't see them hurting him because he's a black guy, a black man. And if I felt that they set him up somehow, or they had a false friendship just to set him up to hurt him, then we would definitely say that. But I don't see. Now, the only thing I can think of, like I said, might be the investigation. You know, maybe Al and Crump believe the investigators might be racist and may not give them the best investigation. I can see that being an issue. You know, that might be what they're talking about, maybe not his friends. But everybody's like, oh, well, it's just this black guy with a bunch of white guys. It's like, so what? Welcome to America. I mean, for F's sakes. I mean, I'm sorry, that's... I'm a white girl with blue eyes and half of my family is Hispanic. What does it matter? You know, what does it matter? I just, it kind of rubs me the wrong way when I see the presentation of that, because, you know, like, people look at me. I have fair skin, blonde hair, brown hair now, gray hair now. I'm so used to saying blonde hair, blue eyes, because I've been blonde for so long, and now I let my natural color grow out. But, you know, and you look at me and some of the conversations I have, you know, I talk about Hispanic cases, I talk about illegal immigration, I talk about all these other things, and people are like thinking that I can't stand Hispanic people, and then I tell them my history. It's like, half my family's freaking Hispanic. Don't let this fair face fool you, you know, and that pisses me off. Like, I can't sit here and speak because about these issues because I'm some, you know, let's not get there. This is not what we're at. We're not there. Okay, we're not there. This is America. We are all Heinz 57. If you don't believe me, do one of those ancestry tests. I promise you, it will shock you. Okay, if it doesn't shock you, you're one of those people that you know. I don't know. I know. When I took mine, I had specks all over the world. So I'm just saying, I'm a Heinz 57, a proud Heinz 57. Nobody's going to change me. I'm just saying, you piss me off, I'm going to be just the same with you, no matter if you look like freaking ogre, okay? You look like ogre or not. But I also love you. If ogre loved Betty, I'd love ogre. I'm just saying. We don't care. We don't care who you are, where you are. If you're a lover, we love you. If you're a meanie, we don't like you. Okay? That's just how we roll over here. So, yeah, we're kind of racist to meanies. Okay? I mean, I'm just saying. That's the only racism. We're racist against Richards. Not the name Richards, just Richards. Oh, good gracious. Let's get on. I already had a flicker of my system, so we're off again. We were doing good there for a while. We were doing so good. All right, guys. As many of you know, we've been covering the case of Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old grandmother ripped out of her bed in the middle of the night by a masked gunman. And we've been talking heavily about how NBC has been unfairly picking on Javeayah Guthrie and pushing her out the door. And I think this poor display here is just another one of those. I don't know who set this up, but for somebody to pass multi-layers of security and an enhanced security because of what's going on with Javeayah, and these yahoos were able to go through all of that and cuss out Melvin, Mr. Melvin, Calvin Melvin, whatever his name is. I call bullshit. Okay, I'm sorry. I just call bullcrap. This is something to push her out, and we're going to talk about it because you know what? Javeayah is taking a sabbatical. She is taking a leave of absence, and she is going over to England to record Wordle, but I don't think it was planned like this. I think she just decided to do this because she's sick and tired of dealing with NBC's bullcrap. That's what I think. I think that they've finally pressured her to take a break from NBC so they can get their ratings back up because they're a piece of shit company. NBC, you suck.
Actually, know what I did? So you actually heard about what I did. Hey, question. Listen.
Everybody's saying this looks like the doorman. That this looks like you know, like the sketch of the doorman, the porch guy. The people are saying that they think this guy is like the porch guy. And this guy here, who is he? We don't know. Who are these people? And why do they dress around the same? They're a bit different sizes and styles, but why are they dressed about the same? Who are these guys? How is TMZ right there to see it and capture this? I have no earthly idea, but it is in New York. I mean, quite frankly, there is a national media someplace right around the corner from ABC, right? NBC and all of them. They're all together in New York, New York. So studios are studios. So I prefer to dress for the cold. Oh, my son starts dancing and runs off and plays. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Perp walk are better when cold. Yeah. Well, this right here is New York, New York. These are the people. We only heard about one guy breaking into the studios of today's show, but yet we have 2 people detained. 2 people were there. And I find this quite ironic that all these things are happening. Who are these people? Why are they there? Where is Nancy Guthrie?
Did you actually hear what I did?
Yeah.
Sorry, what are you? You're not TMZ or anything, are you?
No.
You're not TMZ or anything, are you? No.
Are you like a freelance, or do you actually work for an entertainment channel?
I work for a newspaper.
I work for a newspaper.
What?
The Post.
The Post. So this is a Post.
You're gonna put me in the Post?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, sir, hold on a second. Excuse me. Hold on. He's in the Post.
He's saying, excuse me. Hold on a second. It's the Post. That's what he just told this officer. What the flip? And he's smiling.
Listen, hey, Post, listen. I want you to tell the paper when they write the article. Listen,
yeah, go ahead.
Tell them that I was cooperative.
Oh, he's cooperative. He's cooperative. Okay. Why honest journalism matters. Very good. I can't even read it. Dad burn it. It's in the Arizona Republic. We're going to have to, let me see if I can find it a different way. It was open today, but I guess because I took so long to get to it and my free use is over. My free use is over. And they do not have it anywhere else. So I guess we're not going to be able to read it. I'm not paying the $149 a year to read that post. So let's just move on. So Sheriff Nanos has a good result here. That $1.3 million lawsuit against him because he put one of the people in the jail cell in fear for his life because one person during COVID was going back and forth between the 2 pods, and he says that made his life, endangered his life, whatever. Well, apparently that the motion to dismiss, they win the dismissal of the $1.35 million lawsuit. So there we have it. Then we have Savannah reported left deeply shaken and flees north. Sorry, that's telling me, okay. And flees the Today Show in New York after the Today Show intruder incident. So she flees the studio. Is this really surprising? Bullhorn is really my PR triplet mom. Laugh out loud. Just kidding. Oh, you're cute. You're cute. So Guthrie and her husband Michael Feldman were photographed preparing to leave the Big Apple. New York LaGuardia Airport. The Anchor 54 kept a low profile in a beige clean bucket hat, jeans, sneakers, and black sweaters from the outing. At one point, she was checking her phone. In another snapshot, she's sipping from a water bottle. Guthrie, whose elderly mother went missing in February, was found. February found a security breach the day prior, incredibly triggering. The Daily Mail reports despite the fact that it took place shortly after she left the building Thursday morning, the timing couldn't have been more heartbreaking, a source told the outlet. How much more can one person take? Welcome to NBC. Welcome to NBC, and that's her in a bucket hat at the airport. There's her, Craig Melvin. I kept calling it Calvin Melvin. I can't remember what his name is. Craig Melvin. I just call him Melvin. It makes it easier for me. It's something I can remember. After everything Savannah has endured with her family, this happened just moments after she walks off set. It hit everyone hard, but it hit differently for her, they added. During the incident, the intruder, later identified as Andrew Truelove, well, I heard Truelove before, stormed the building looking for Al Roker. Instead, found Melvin. He allegedly hurled racial slurs during an encounter, calling Melvin the N-word, and is now facing a slew of hate crime charges. This couldn't have come at a worse time for her emotionally, which I believe is what they did, and they only got him with some hate crime slurs. Come on. I'm sorry. Come on. I feel like this was a setup. Who did this? Who paid this man to do this? I don't know. But we're learning that Savannah reveals today's show she has a leave of absence after missing episodes. And I think this is something that she has chose to do. I don't think, in all fairness, we're still not up. God blessed. What is wrong with this damn freaking camera? Good gracious, it's still not going to catch up. Okay, I'm done with it. Let me just turn this off. It's going to annoy the piss out of me. Some days it works, some days it doesn't. I just get over it, and we're almost done with the show anyways. Guthrie, who announced in May she was the host of the upcoming NBC World Game Show, she will be taking a brief hiatus from today as production for the new series is underway. I believe that they pushed that forward because NBC has been begging her to take some time off work. And then I came across this article here, which has been kind of a little highly disturbing for me, which is Nancy Guthrie buried on property in 1976 bus kidnapper Frederick Woods. Investigators share shocking claim. I don't know what this is about, but it came up. The self-styled investigators share shocking claims made by one Richard Alvey on YouTube, where a man claims he knew where Guthrie was buried. So a person claimed to know where Nancy Guthrie was buried. The shocking claim were put out by Richard Alvey on YouTube and shared by self-styled investigator, a JLR, of course, it's Hindu's time. I think JLR writes this stuff in Hindu's time, and quite frankly, I don't know how Hindu time always seems to pick up only JLR's statements. Anyways, this man claims he knows where Nancy Guthrie is buried, claims she is buried on property occupied by Frederick Woods in Nimpimo, California. This man claims he knows where Nancy Guthrie's body is buried, claims she is buried on a property occupied by Frederick Woods in Nimpimo, California, and gives a link. I'm not going to watch it. That's what this guy says. These claims come even as authorities continue their search for the 84-year-old mother of today's show host Savannah Guthrie, who was reported missing on February 1st by her family. Notably, authorities still treating this as a kidnapping case, which is stupid, and have not shared information with the public about Guthrie's demise. Nancy Guthrie is buried in a beautiful grass lawn. In a clip put out with little over 4 minutes, Alvey claims to know where Nancy Guthrie is buried. According to the video, so why didn't he call law enforcement? Why is he making a video? According to the video, Nancy Guthrie was buried in a beautiful grass lawn. Later in the comments, he said the correct address was 1675 Scenic View Way in Nimpimo, California. Notably, Guthrie was taken from her Catalina Foothill home in Tucson, Arizona, over 700 miles away. Carrying somebody 700 miles is a huge risk. I don't see it. I don't see it. I mean, it's possible, but I mean, this case is so crazy. I mean, of all cases, this would be the one case that would go 700 miles away, but you can't walk up to her grave. The gated compound is surrounded by recently installed barbed wire fence, Alves continues. The property is a green oasis on a hill in the middle of barren desert. He said, adding, Nancy is truly buried in nature. Wow. Alvey further said the property owner was Fred Woods, recently released from parole for kidnapping and burying alive 26 children. He also went on to claim that Woods lived in the same geographic area as Nancy Guthrie. Interesting. Kind of crazy, though. Hey, Awakened Soul, thank you for the eagle. Body has healed from sadness of lost one. BHB, the network guy, had been convicted of kidnapping a child, wasn't he? I'm not sure, but I do know that they're saying that this guy was just released from kidnapping and burying alive 26 children. So let's look up this let's look up this Fred Woods guy. Fred Woods. How does he have a home if he was locked up for so long? Always wondered that. How do people walk out of jail and have a paid for life? Fred Woods, released from prison. Let's do that. Oh, we're getting close. We gotta get done. Frederick Woods, the mastermind behind the 1976 Chowchilla school bus kidnapping, was granted parole and officials released from prison August of 2022. He was last of the 3 kidnappers to be paroled. His 2 accomplices were released in 2012 and 2015, respectively. The 1976 kidnapping involved 26 children and their bus driver, who were held hostage and buried alive in an underground moving van in Livermore, California, rock quarry. After 16 hours, the victims managed to dig themselves out and escape. Whoa. Following his release, Woods became a free man, though state correction officials kept the exact time and date of his exit hidden due to safety and security concerns. They didn't even tell him when they were going to let him release this guy because they were concerned for his safety. What about the 26 people that he tried to bury alive? I thought we had rights here, you know, when like somebody tries to kill you, like if they're released from jail, I thought they were supposed to notify you. That's sick. I get so sick of these damn liberal policies. Just freaking liberal policies. I'm sorry. They just suck. They just suck. We got some flyers in Spanish. There they are. I bet you they came from... Oh, well. There's the watch. The Apple Watch with the white band. Right there on Miss Guthrie's hand. On Miss Guthrie's hand, right there. People could see it. Awakened Soul, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Cops detail why she may have known her kidnappers. I think we've read this one before, so I'm not going to go into that one. And do we have anything else? I think that's it. Oh, and we have the full lawsuit. We don't have time to run over the full lawsuit for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We do have the full lawsuit here that I was wanting to go over with you. The full, the document word by word. But I'm not going to have time before Jennifer Coffindaffer's show. So we might come back here later. The rain and stuff, it appears like it's clearing up a little bit outside. So I'm going to try to make it over to my best friend's house. But when we started this show, it was not a good thing. So I wanted you guys to see my face before I, cut off. But I wasn't able to check my settings before we started live, so clearly something got screwed up. As it always does when I rush into a live show, but sometimes I get lucky. This morning I did not, so We're kind of struggling here with the syncing and stuff like that. But I do love you guys. I hope you have a great Saturday. Come back later this afternoon. We're going to be breaking down the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Anything that allows me to talk about Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers, I'm going to do it. This is the first movement we've had in the case since me filing federal lawsuit, but I can't really go over my federal lawsuit because I'm, the plaintiff in that federal lawsuit. So I can definitely go over Seth's though, and Seth's is more is more information. And again, I want to condemn all of the channels that protected the Proudfoot family and the Bowersox. Shame on you. And how dare you, finding out this information now, and you guys are sitting here still criticizing this father and trying to make it about money. Let's be honest. There is no county or state in this United States of America that will make policy changes without freaking hurting. Without really hurting, without having to pay the piper. It has nothing to do with money. His son is priceless. There's not a dollar amount in this world that's going to bring his son back. But when you have a faulty investigation, and you yahoos are fucking felons, trying to act like you're some type of expert on what a good, thorough investigation is, cut it out. You didn't even freaking graduate high school, let alone college, let alone know this information. You are fucking idiots. That's what you are. Queen Bee, you are a fucking idiot. B. Tim, you are a fucking idiot. Barbecue, Granny's watching, you are fucking idiots. How dare you? How dare you protect these people? This child was disabled. And the only thing I can think of is you pieces of shit, when I look into your background, you've had your children taken from you, you've been accused of child abuse yourself, so it makes me wonder, is the only reason why you're protecting Chris and Katie because you're the same type of piece of shit they are? I'm asking for a lot of fucking people on this platform. Talk now, bitches. I double dog dare you. You guys protected those motherfuckers knowing damn well they were hurting this child. Damn well! Don't ever come to me and say shit about me. You need to keep your own side of the street clear first. Idiots. Frickin' idiots. Look at all this pain you caused this family because of your stupid shit. And you still won't believe it. When the frickin' courts find reasons to give this man and to rule against this county and the Department of Children and Family Services, you're still going to be on your stupid platform saying, oh, the Proudfoots are innocent. Hell, you're probably still saying Brian Koberger is innocent, you dumb bitches. I'm so sick of you. You don't deserve a platform. You don't deserve a platform. You guys are idiots and all you do is bring pain. Bring pain and destruction to everything and everyone around you.